Talk about a bounce back. Last Friday, Buena went into Pueblo High School and had a resounding 56-0 victory, moved their record to 4-1. And as they prepare for another road trip this Friday, tomorrow night, to Casa Grande, we'll take a few minutes to talk about all of it on this edition of the Buena Colt football pregame, brought to you by Ssvec, Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, serving our community. Always glad to talk to my good friend, Joe Thomas. Coach, when you win 56-0, it sounds like every aspect of the game is working to precision. Talk about what happened on Friday.
I mean, it was what happened was what was supposed to happen, and it was expected. You know, as a coach, you see those games that, there's the games that you should win. The games that are going to be a little bit tougher, and those games that are going to be dogfights. And we went into that. We had a chip on our shoulder. We don't take losing very well. We love to win. We hate to lose, and I think that goes along with everything. But they practiced. They had a good week of practice, and they were hungry, and they wanted to make plays, and they felt like there was a lot of things that we didn't do well, so they wanted to get better at those things. And we didn't play a perfect game, but I think every time we had the ball, we scored. They didn't score, so the defense was perfect as far as not giving up any points. I think we turned the ball over one time on a fourth down. We went for it, and the quarterback got sacked. So that was the only time we turned it over. We didn't have any punts. We didn't have to punt at all. So that was nice. And we had ground touchdowns. We had aerial touchdowns. We had one of our D linemen got a touchdown. We had a punt return touchdown. And those are the fun games. Those are the fun games that you get to have, and those guys wanted it, and it was a nice bounce back, and they were capable of doing it, and it was exciting. I was happy for them. It's like those when you lose, it stings. It stings Friday night, it stings Saturday, it stings on Sunday, and then Monday you get back to it. But it was nice. It's been a good week of practice after the win, and we're looking forward to obviously a tougher opponent this week. And Casa Grande is also 4-1.
Getting into the division,
yes,
as a matter of fact, and looking at that this week. Practice. Yeah. What are things that you've been focusing on? What are things you know about Casa Grande other than their record being the exact same as yours?
Well, they got some good athletes. Last year we came here and they were able to get us by, I think it was 3 points or so. So that still sticks with us. They have some good athletes. They're going to do some good things, but I like that because it does challenge our kids a little bit more. They throw the ball a lot, which is good because that means it's a 50% chance that we can pick it off or bat it down. They have a little running back that runs pretty good. They have some big boys up front, but we're always the smallest on the line. So we're excited about that. But the simple fact that they've won 4 games and their strength of schedule is pretty good. It's a good matchup. And I think that if we can move the ball like we should on offense, on the ground and through the air, I think if defense can get some passes that are tipped or deflected or get some interceptions and kind of keep some of their better guys off the field, I think we make it a game. And it's all right. I'm fine if it's a dogfight. I just want to make sure we come out on top. You got to have some of those. You can't always have a blowout. You got to have some dogfight games, so that way that your kids are going to be built to last. So it might be a dogfight game. It could be an offensive shootout. If nobody's defense is ready to play, it'll be an offensive shootout. They have a lot of guys on offense that can score. We have a lot of guys on offense that can score.
Obviously.
So, we want to make sure that we limit the turnovers, right? We don't want to turn the ball over. Get as many points as we can, whether it's through the air, on the ground, or if we have to kick some field goals. But I think it's going to be an exciting game.
Well, thinking about that game, you talked about your line being the smallest on the field. Yeah. How is that an advantage to this team?
Because we're faster. Because we're not, right? Our guys aren't, all the 300-pounders, 350-pounders. So number one, we're faster, and our guys they're strong. They're really strong. And if they're faster than those big guys, they can't get to us as quick, right? There's going to be some plays where they're going to do some things, but when you're in the third quarter and you're in the fourth quarter, now that conditioning checks in, and we're not going to be the ones doing this.
Yeah,
we're not going to be the ones coming out to get a break. So it's an advantage. When somebody's bigger than you got to be faster. You got to be stronger, and then you got to be smarter.
Right.
Outsmart the big boys.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, they're going to get tired. Knock them on the ground. It's going to take more energy for them to get up because they're 300 plus, and it just wears on them a little bit. Picking up the tempo on the offense. Having those guys run sideline to sideline, run some plays to make the big boys chase you to the sideline, then come back, run up the middle. They're not going to be in as good a shape as our guys are on the line. And those are just some things you take into advantage. They won 4 games. They're a good team, but you just try to look at the mismatch and the advantages that you can have when you're playing another good team.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an exciting game for sure, no matter how it turns out. What are some things that, when you come off a win, 56-0, what are some words or keys or things that you're able to to talk to these young men about, these young student athletes about this week going into the road game to Casa Grande tomorrow?
Well, we know that we can score, right? We know that we can score on the ground. We know we can score in the air. We wanted to work on blocking a little bit better, and we did a good job of that. The refs kind of threw some holding penalties on us that I didn't think were good, but the thing was our guys were fighting. Right, we had bodies on bodies, and they were fighting. And we took into that. It's like, guys, we know what we're capable of doing, but it was just playing Buena football. You know, if we play Buena football and control what we can control, it's going to make it a good game. You know, but if we don't, then it's going to make it a tough game. So going into this week, it was, you know, the first half of the season was over. It's almost like you come out of halftime and score 0-0. You're in region play now. So yeah, the other games matter, but as far as a region, you know, you're 0-0. And you want to get to 1-0 every week, and you know, if you win more of the region games, then you're the region champ. You know, and we got a tough region, so our strength of schedule isn't going to go down. So I mean, we have some good teams in our region, and you know, we feel like that's going to help us for our strength of schedule. But we got to keep winning. We got to keep winning.
Any words or phrases that have been repeated this week going into tomorrow night's game?
We talked about stepping it up. We got to step it up. You know, when it comes time for all region voting, you know, when we put up our guys, and Casa Grande coach is going to see how our guys played against him. And if our quarterback throws for 300 yards, he's probably going to vote for our quarterback. You know, if our running backs go off, if somebody goes off. So now it's like, forget about what happened, because the Pueblo coach isn't in our region. You know, Fairfax, Ironwood Ridge, they're not in our region. They're in another one. So all these games matter. So now they have to get the attention of these other coaches. So now when I put their name in the hat to vote for them, these other coaches got to know, man, we got to look out for number 24 all night. We got to look out for number 20. So now you got to put on a show. Yeah. You got to put on a show, but they have to step it up. Our region is tougher than the other side. We're in a very tough region. We have some good teams, and it's time to step it up, and it's perfect timing to step it up because it's region play.
Exactly.
And you know, we're not in so far, but we're 4-1. Yeah. So we're not perfect, but we're next in line. And going into region play, we're sitting pretty good right now. So it's got to keep winning, but step it up and keep winning.
And you had some players who really stepped it up this past Friday, and we'd love to talk to them. Let's talk about them first before we bring them over here. Obviously, Jaden Thomas, you're very familiar with that young man. Let's talk about his game.
Yeah, so he's been Nash's favorite target all year. He has 6 touchdowns. Nash has thrown 6 touchdown passes this year, and then he had 2 catches for 100 yards. So he, you know, and 2 touchdowns, and then he had a couple punt returns. One of them was a 60-yard punt return. So you know, being able to score 3 touchdowns, you know, on a punt return, which was nice because that's the special teams aspect. And then Nash throwing him the ball, he caught 2 50-yard bombs. Those are pretty good stats. 2 catches, 100 yards. 2 punt returns. I think one was for a touchdown, the other. So he probably had maybe 90, 100 yards in punt return yards that night too. So it was exciting for him, you know. And the love was spread to some of the running backs and other guys, but he has to continue to step up every game. And Nash likes throwing to him, and he's catching the ball. So we accept it.
It sounds like a fantastic game. I remember when my dad was my coach, I remember the one thing he would always tell me is, remember, I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know.
Right.
That's what he always reminded me of. Let's talk about the defensive player of the game, Cooper Kraus. Let's talk about that young man.
He plays middle linebacker, and I mean, he's a tough kid. He's very strong. You know, he's put on weight, and he's gotten stronger, and he's working on speed, and he's in there, you know, smacking heads, and he was able to get 7 total tackles. You know, he had 4 solos and 3 assisted, and he had a tackle for loss. So he's sticking his nose in there. He's not afraid of it, and he has to play big, especially against the run teams that we go against in 5A. As that middle linebacker, he has to step up, and he had the best stats, and he was able to earn that, and it was exciting. I'm happy for him, you know, that he was able to get those numbers, and I think it's just going to keep him hungry to continue to stick his nose in there and hit. He's a middle linebacker. He's got to be a little crazy, which he is, and you got to be a little nasty too.
Momentum building momentum. Let's talk about something that gets very little love in any level of football, and that is the special teams.
Right.
And Alan Martorello, my goodness, one of the best kickers in this division, and he proved it on Friday night.
Yeah.
Talk about his night.
And he did well. And you know, early on in the season, you know, we'd had some messed up PATs, and you know, we started working on that a lot more at practice. You know, but he was 8 for 8 at PATs. And he kicked 7 touchbacks. So that was nice, and he was getting the ball in the end zone like we wanted to. I think he was feeling good about it, but he was perfect on, point after tries, so it was good snaps, good holds, and he was kicking it through. So we're excited for him about that. We want to continue to keep doing it. He kicked a field goal earlier in the year that, a game might come down to it, and we want to trust that he can get it done. Putting the ball in the end zone is great, keeping it out of the athletic guy's hands on the other side. So if he can kick touchbacks and the ball starts at the 20 for the other team, we'll take it all day. There might be some times we have to onside or squib it, but for him to be able to kick those 7 touchbacks that he did,
which isn't you rarely see that in high school football. No. Honestly, the touchbacks is something you don't see every time or every day, every Friday night at least.
He was consistent with it.
Yeah, and having him do that. Well, you want to go grab him, and we'll give a little chat to them. It is the Buena Colt football pregame, brought to you by Ssvec, Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, serving our community. As always, please be sure to share this video, like this video, tag your friends who have family members or maybe former alumni of Buena High School in this live chat. Let them know that you support the Colts, and we're excited to be here today. As always, looks like they're waiting for us over here. We'll come over and say hi to these gentlemen here as they're getting ready to go. Cooper Kraus. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for taking a minute to talk to us. So, defensive player of the game this past week. When you are playing in a shutout game as a linebacker, it's very exciting. And what was that feeling like on the field at that time?
So the whole defense gets pretty hyped when we're shutting them out, especially if everyone's doing their job, they just can't really get anywhere. So no one was playing selfish that game. Everyone was working together. We're all getting very hyped on defense.
How is and before we let you go, John, we want to do a couple questions. Before you got to get back to practice, man. These guys got to work today. Now, does momentum carry on from week to week? Can you take some of the amazingly positive things that happened in a 56-0 shutout and carry that on into tomorrow night against Casa Grande?
Most definitely. When we're coming off a good game, everybody feels better the next week. Everybody's more hyped, more ready to practice, and everyone just does their job better.
That's fantastic. Clanging and banging. Keep up the good work, Cooper. Good to talk to you today. Thanks so much for talking to us. Defensive player of the game, Cooper Kraus. Now it's time to talk to the special teams player of the game. My goodness, that beautiful foot of yours, that beautiful leg of yours, being able to do what? Introduce yourself to everybody first.
My name is Alan Martorello, and I'm the kicker for Buena.
Alan, what grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
You are a junior. So a junior who went, let me make sure I get this right, 8 for 8 on point afters, 7 touchbacks.
Yes, sir.
That's insane. I mean, if you think about it, touchbacks are something we rarely see nowadays in high school football. Being able to do that and just unload on that ball. Did you play a lot of soccer growing up too, or was this something? Because hitting a soccer ball is different than hitting a football, right?
Of course.
Now, what were some of the? Did you have that skill as a kid growing up?
The technique is different, obviously, from soccer. But I've been playing soccer since I was 6 years old, so I've kind of had the feel of hitting the ball. So
fantastic. So when you go on a run like 8 for 8 on point after touchdowns, do you get tired? Do you actually go, hey, offense, can you just give me a break? I'm tired right now. I need a break from you guys scoring all these touchdowns because I keep coming out here having to kick these extra points.
Honestly, no. I mean, I love them scoring, and it's a good feeling knowing that I'm getting points up on the board. So.
And you get to contribute as well, and that's what we're looking forward to this week when you guys head up to play the Cougars. Congratulations on last week, man. Thanks so much for talking to us, Alan. Jaden, come on over, my man. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Jaden Thomas, wide receiver DB.
And what grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
He is a junior. Now, Jaden, it was a pretty busy day for you at the office on Friday night. In a 56-0 game, you got to contribute in several different ways, not just on the offense, but also special teams. Was there any particular run or play, maybe it was a touchdown play, that was one that stood out to you that was like a combined team? Obviously, anytime you score, it's a team effort to get down the field to get to a certain point. But what did it feel like at a certain, which play in particular would you say is the one that best emulated this team over here?
I'm gonna go with the punt return because we haven't really had one of those this year, and I think I have like 7 punt returns right now for a little over 200 yards. And also that 6-yard one that we took to the house, it wasn't just me, it was everybody. If you watch, I'm barely jogging, running behind my blockers, so I feel like that was the most team. I feel like that was my favorite one. Yeah,
I love that. And thinking about tomorrow, You got to hit the road. Not just going to Tucson. You're going an hour beyond. You're going up to Casa Grande.
Yeah.
Last year they had your number. What are you going to do this year?
Dude, we gotta get our get back. You know, they scheduled us as their homecoming. You know.
No way. Oh, it's their homecoming. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's
All
their
right.
homecoming. You know, we got something to prove. So as long as we play as a team, I got our 11 against or over anyone else's 11.
Well, it's awesome. We can't wait to see it happen. Jaden,
sir.
congratulations, Offensive
Thank
Player
you.
of the Week.
I appreciate it.
And as we wrap up here, I don't know where Coach Thomas is off, obviously in the middle of the field. We'll go chat with him just one last time. Again, the words that he said to his players, 2 words: step up. How are they going to step up? You are going to see it live on Cool FM as the Buena Fighting Colts head to Casa Grande to take on the Cougars this Friday, tomorrow night. Boy, thanks for, as always, thanks so much for letting us talk to the kids. We love seeing them. And again, the student-athlete part of what they do is the most incredible part. These kids are in class all day long. They've got homework. They got pop quizzes. They got tests. They got things to study for all the time.
Right.
And yet they come out here and they still give their all here as well as in the classroom.
Yes, sir. And that's the expectation. They know they're held to a higher standard, and they like to represent. You know, they got Buena on their chest, and you know, it's good. It's fun. You know, they get to represent the school, and they get to be a part of something that's bigger than them. We were able to be part of something that was bigger than us,
Yeah.
and they're able to be part of something that's bigger than them. So that's a good thing.
One thing I did ask Jaden about was what was the one play that he was able to be a part of that most emulated the team aspect of this team, and he said his punt return. Because that was something that the team had not done yet to this point.
Correct.
And it took all 10 guys to be able to put the
yeah.
blocks in the right place for him to get in the end
They
zone.
set it up great. Our special teams coordinator, Coach Davenport, he works them through that stuff, and it set up great. And there was a nice wall, and everybody was crucial in making blocks. There were some pancake blocks. There were kids that were in the right position. There was kids that hit you enough just to throw you off balance, and he was able to do it. So that was 100% team effort. He was just able. They paved the way, and he just drove the car down. So that's I would agree with that one. That was a good effort, and everybody had a role. Because if everybody didn't pick up somebody, it wouldn't have been successful. And he was able to get in the end zone, and everybody else was chasing. So it was written up just like we.
It happened just like we wrote it up. That's right.
Just like we you know. But no, it's nice when they can get out there and execute, and it's what you practice, and they get it done. You know, so it shows that they are remembering what they're supposed to do, and it was good because if they didn't do that, it wouldn't have went to the house. So it was exciting.
It was one snippet of an amazing game, an amazing performance by the Buena Fighting Colts this past Friday, 56-0. What will happen tomorrow night as they travel to Casa Grande to take on the Cougars Friday, October 4th, 7 p.m. Mark your calendars. It'll be on Cool FM live all around the world. You will watch the Buena Colts. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Buena Colt Football Pregame, brought to you by SSVEC, Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, serving our community. Coach, it's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
We
Love
love
you,
you.
sir.
We
Love you
hope
guys.
the best for you tomorrow
Thank you.
night. And as always, go Colts.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man. No, thank you.